Hi everyone. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the situation with the coronavirus in Germany because honestly, the situation in my country is a total mess. So, as you can see right now, there are 1,656 cases in Germany. By the time you're watching this, the situation is probably much worse, and that number is probably gonna be much, much higher. And that's just the thing what a lot of people don't get because it's an exponential growth. A lot of people don't get that. Now we're at 1,600, right? Roughly. Uh, Not too long ago, just actually a few days ago, we were at 16. So it's uh yeah. So wait, how much more is that? 100 times more? Uh yeah. Yeah, 100. So within a day, within a few days, it increased 100-fold. And well, of course, one of the reasons is the exponential growth. Um, and the other reason is that for a long time, Germany just didn't test anyone else. They're still not really testing anyone, you know. And that's just the thing. They're completely ignoring this. That basically so far they haven't done anything. Um, it's actually incredibly hard to get tested. So this is the official side of the government. I actually I actually got on that site from eBay. Uh, as you can see here, if you search for face masks on the German eBay, it redirects you to the government site. And as you can see, there are still some face masks on eBay, but you will also see that all of those are from um, people who are selling commercially on eBay, and they typically ask extremely high prices. They ask like 20 euros for one mask, and they even tell people, you can see that a little here. They even tell people in the description, oh yeah, this mask would prevent you from getting the coronavirus, which is of course, you can't say it like that, and that's not. If you say it like that, then I gotta say that's not the case. It's not that simple. But of course, they want to make money, so they're asking extremely high prices. And a lot of people have been complaining about that. And there were even some articles. I'll show them to you in a second. They were complaining about that. So that big, complaining that people were asking high prices for those masks on eBay. So eBay solved that problem by cracking down on, well, any private seller. So if you're a private person, you cannot sell those kinds of masks anymore. So I wanted to. I still had some. From like half a year ago, I had some that that I bought when I thought I was going to move, but I never moved. So I still had a bunch of them new, unused, and I wanted to sell them on eBay, with a starting bid of €1. eBay deleted that auction, saying it goes against their terms and conditions, but they were unable to tell me where in their terms and conditions it says that I can sell that. And obviously, you can, as you can see, you can sell them if you're a business who's asking extremely high prices. And is telling people, hey, this will protect against coronavirus, then of course you can still sell them. But if you're a private person who still has a stack of them that have never been used, and you want to help people and sell them at a normal price, you cannot do that. So yeah, eBay just made it worse. And yeah, so they also show people this link here when you search for face masks. So I clicked on that, and then it's the official government site, um, from the German government, and it says here. Um, there are more and more cases of coronavirus. The German health system is well prepared. People who are infected will immediately get the care they need, and will be isolated to prevent a spread of the disease. And here are some important questions and answers. Okay, so first off, that's all bullshit. That's just basically it's government propaganda, if you will, because as I was saying, no one has tests. It has actually now become extremely easy, especially in Germany. They just invented in Germany. They just invented a way that makes it very easy to test for the coronavirus. But the doctors and physicians, they don't have those tests. So when you say, "Hey, I feel sick," and you go to the doctor, all the doctor does is tell you, no, 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 don't come here, go back home and maybe speak to me on the phone, because first off, they're afraid of getting infected, so they won't even see you in most cases. And then they tell you to just stay inside your home until you feel better or you die or something. Of course, they're gonna say, well, if it's really serious, then go to the hospital. But unless you really are about to die, they will just tell you, well, stay at home, and they won't test you. They won't do anything because they don't have tests. So this thing here about them saying, hey, they're well prepared, it's bullshit. They're not well prepared, and they're not testing anyone. And that's the reason why you had that number. For a long time, just a few days ago, that number was not at 1,600. That number was the number of cases was at 16. And the reason it stayed at 16 for like a month is simply because they didn't test anyone. And on this government side, all they're doing is just playing it down the entire time. Every question and answer is just about playing it down, and just I can understand that they don't want people to panic, but that's their number one priority, is not making people panic, and because they don't want to harm the economy. They're not doing anything. People are just, everywhere in Germany, people continue to go to work as normal. People go to mass gatherings. People travel as normal. No restrictions at all. Because, of course, they don't want to harm the economy, and they don't want people to panic. I can understand that, but that doesn't help. And on top of that, they're playing it down. And they're even telling people, not only should you go to mass gatherings as normal and travel as normal, you should also not wear a respirator. We'll get to that in a second. But here, you can just see how they're playing it down. And they're saying, yeah, well, they're describing it kind of like the flu, and sometimes, very rarely, like with elder people, if you're very old and very sick and about to die already, then maybe there'll be some complications. And they're actually giving here, and they're relying on the statistics from China, because those are totally reliable. And then they conclude that it has a mortality rate, or is it fatality rate? No, mortality rate. So they're saying that a mortality rate of 0.7%. So they're even explaining that here and saying that means that out of 1,000 people that are infected, 7 might die if they're already old and sick and we're about to die anyway. And I don't know how they come up with that 0.7%, because usually, and including the World Health Organization, gives that rate as 2%. Maybe because they're relying on the Chinese government statistics that they come up with 0.7%, and they just haven't realized that those are not reliable, or they just want to play it down, and yeah, this is interesting. Here it says what you should do when you think you might have contracted it. Yeah, and here it basically tells you what I already told you. It tells you not to go to your see your physician. Just call him first, And like I said, in most cases, then he will just tell you to stay at home. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want you to come to his office because he's afraid of contracting it, and he can't actually do anything because he doesn't have any tests. you know. So because the normal physicians they haven't been distributed any tests yet, so they can't do anything. They can't test for it, and there is no cure for it anyway. So if you're really about to die and can't breathe anymore, they'll put you in a hospital and put you on a breathing apparatus, but that they will only do if you really are about to die. Otherwise, they'll just tell you to stay at home. So they're not doing anything. so yeah, but no, they're well prepared, as they said, of course. Here it says again, oh, we're well prepared, everything is fine. It's just bullshit. And I love some of the media articles that came out in Germany. Love this one. It says here, the fear that is racist, referring to the fear of the coronavirus and telling people, if you're afraid of the coronavirus, then you're really racist against Chinese. So admittedly, that article is well, it's not it's about a month old, so it isn't actually too old, but it was still, admittedly from that time when it was when the cases were mainly in China, but at that time, even at that time, it was had already spread around the world. So this is complete baloney. So they're telling you, hey, don't wear masks. If you wear masks, especially around Chinese people, you're being racist, and don't avoid contact with Chinese people, because if you avoid contact with Chinese people, you're racist. So I think the government in Germany, and especially the media, when it comes to, how they handle the coronavirus, I really feel they have a lot of blood on their hand, because the official recommendations that everyone is praising and everyone is saying, and the big tech and big media is all telling you, no, only rely on official information from the government. Yeah, but that's the worst kind of advice. They really have blood on their hand. And those are all big media companies in Germany, by the way. So, and they will also, of course, they rely on official sources. But, but they're just playing it down. So this article, for instance, also so typical, also very, very big German media corporation here. And it says, the unfounded fear. We are afraid of COVID-19, but we play down influenza. What the? Yeah, and again, it's just playing it down and telling you, you're really being irrational and you're being a racist if you're afraid of the coronavirus. And again, also, hammering, always in those articles, they always emphasize, hey, don't wear masks, that's just extremely irresponsible. Here again, it says, also very big German media corporation here, and it says, here it says, well, it raises the question. The question here says, do respirators? It says respirators. Do respirator masks protect one from SARS-CoV-2? Well, that's an unusual. Well, normally, well, yeah, they mean COVID-19, but okay. And then it quotes someone, who is actually a doctor and is actually giving the correct advice. And he's saying that, no, they don't protect one from viruses. But the reason he's saying that is because he's actually talking about surgical masks. So the question here in big letters says, do respirators, it says respirators, do respirators protect one from COVID-19? And then they answer it by quoting a doctor who says, no, surgical masks do not protect you from viruses. Yes, that's right. But the question was about respirators. It wasn't about surgical masks. So they intentionally, and a normal person doesn't understand. A normal reader will think, well, respirators and surgical masks, aren't they the same? No, they're not the same. But they're intentionally confusing that. They're telling people, hey, wearing any kind of face masks is useless, when it's not. And they're intentionally confusing respirators with surgical masks. And by the way, even surgical masks help, just in a different way. Here again, it says respirators, again confusing respirators with surgical masks. Respirators do not protect you from infection. Yes, they do. That's what they're designed for. They're intentionally confusing that and misleading the public. And I really say, the German government officials and the German media, they really have blood on their hand in that respect. Because, as you can see, the number will only get bigger. And especially now it will get increasingly bigger because people are not protecting from it in the least because they're being told not to protect themselves. They're being told, hey, continue large gatherings and be sure not to use, any kind of masks during your large gatherings, so it will only rise, and the government isn't really taking any measures against it. So this is horrible. And, the sad thing is it's not only like that in Germany. A lot of other countries are also irresponsible like that, And when they realize that their being irresponsible leads to more and more people dying, then eventually they will be forced to take draconian measures and become essentially a police state. But that again will only make it worse because by the time they implemented draconian measures, it will already be too late. If they would, they don't even have to implement draconian measures. Just implement sensible measures, but right at the beginning, But they don't do that. They just, when it's the crucial phase is at the beginning, when it's beginning to spread in a country. That's when it's so crucial. But right at that crucial phase, most countries don't do anything because they don't want to alarm people and they don't want to harm the economy. Well, if 2% of your population die, I would say that does harm your economy, doesn't it? That's the most harm you can do to your economy, isn't it? Right? That's going to do some long-term harm to your economy. But no, we don't want to alarm people. We don't want to affect the economy. So at the beginning, at the crucial phase, most countries ignore it, and then it explodes. And that's the sad thing. And the most sad thing is that, it didn't need to be that way.